So, the video cut off for no reason. Yesterday, if I may complain for a minute, yesterday my video cut off because I was out of storage on my phone, and I lose pictures and stuff when I take it to a drive or whatever. And so I had been shooting these videos, then uploading them, then deleting them on my camera. And so there were two in the garbage, and I didn't realize that, so I deleted those. And then I upgraded my Google One thing so that I could have more files and pictures on there, so I won't be so close to the limit, and yet still right in the middle of me talking about this magician. I'm sure it wasn't his fault. I'm not sure, but I'm sure it was some kind of technical thing. And my phone quit. It seems to be doing fine, so I guess I'm going to be doing 2 videos. So that would have been part 1 of 2 of Cups, and we were talking about this tricky, possibly tricky magician fellow here, or just that remember to kind of take a break. Oh, I think I forgot to say last video that I have a condition where I forget what I'm saying, what I'm doing, and then I kind of have to take context around me, see if I can catch up again. I was talking about the altar because of this guy's having an altar here, and I was talking about my friends and how my friend Basha liked to have little altars, and I had always admired the Catholic religion because they have a lot of symbolism and stuff that we didn't have in my church, and so I started having my own altar, and I would just put little treasures on it and use my own style of spiritualism at that time to sort of take that time to yourself and to think about what you value. And it's nice, like behind me, little a kind of whole thing would qualify at this point because it has all of my, 1 second, I've got an alarm going off. That's for my, I have a lot of alarms. I won't tell on myself as to which one that was, but I have a lot of alarms telling me, making sure that I remember that I have things that I should do. And kind of like, I think this alarm here is this rooster. So I'm going to put this card down, and then I'm going to show you a few of the things that I put out today. Most of them come from the shelves behind me. And so, of course, we have my wand representation with peaceful, joyous, loving, create your own world. So representing wands. Then I have swords, which happens to be a wooden sword, but I like it. And I do also have this, which is quite like a wand for me. It's wooden. I like it. I use it. Snakes. I'll tickle there. I have a phobia of snakes, but I know that they can represent protection and new things coming in or asking you to remember something. They have their own message, and so I do respect snakes. I just can't help that natural reaction to where I scream when I see them. But this one, I don't scream. Has a nice, I guess, the wooden feel. I like the feel of little bumps, and he's quite heavy. So he would make a good wand as well. I already showed the harmonica that I have. That's just, I really like harmonicas. My papa would play harmonicas, and actually on his side of the family, from Minnesota, they, a lot of musicians, like everyone would play something. And there was this big family reunion one time, and they were just like, slide guitars, banjos, guitars, microphones, any kind of thing, and everyone was kind of sharing. One person would leave, put the banjo down, and someone else might pick up the banjo, and it was just so fun, and they were just constantly playing stuff. And so I've collected kind of a different amount of harmonicas. This one is actually Orion's great-grandfather. This came from the house, and I had to take it because it says Golden Butterfly, so duh. If you know, you always know. And so then I just have some little like brass figures here, like a nice little duck and a little seahorse, and a dolphin, which doesn't stand up well, so I'm just going to leave him or he'll fall. And this little guy who is, he's weaving a little basket, and he's like a nice, peaceful little kind of father figure that I like. And then I have my cup, which when I was a kid, my mom had a cup like this, and she kept treasures in it, I believe. And I had it for a little while, and I lost it, or it broke, and I found this at a thrift store, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's just like that. So I use it. It has my little sculpture guy here, and he is someone I made, and I like to polymorph clay. And I like to hold him in my little hand. He's very sad, and he's in that comforting himself fetal position that we all sometimes need to be in when we're sad, or we've seen someone or a child, and I hold him in my hand, and it's kind of comforting for both of us. It's like, oh, sometimes we're sad, and he's kind of special because I always did drawings and colorings, and picked up painting and lots, but I never really did much sculpting other than Play-Doh when I was a kid. But I always secretly wanted to do sculpting. It's just a very, very expensive program, and it just seemed out of my reach, and so I never really did much with it other than like little Play-Doh stuff with kids and so forth. And then this was some polymorph clay that I got, and it was like my first sculpture. I haven't really done too much, but it took me a long time, and it was raw for a long time because when I first started, I had just like the regular oven and stuff, and I burned a few things, and I had to paint them. And this one it's the flesh colored clay, so I didn't want him to lose his you can like even see the little wires that I used inside in tin foil under his skin. And I kind of use it for myself because I have a lot of self-doubt, like we all do, I'm sure. And sometimes I think, I exaggerate my hobbies or talents, or I'm like, I'm not really an artist, or whatever. You can have this terrible self-talk, and this is like a thing in 3D that I made with my hands that I can look at and go, yeah, that looks like a little sad dude with little fingers and toes. Like it's pretty good. And I can think to myself, I made that. So if I never make another thing again, which probably is unlikely, but at least I can always look at this and be like, believe in myself a little bit. It's helpful. And then in the cup, I have little shells and stuff. When we go to the beach and have a family beach day, Orion and I, we always look for seashells if we can. Obviously, I've learned recently, well, I shouldn't say obviously because I learned it recently, but a lot of people probably know this. If you see a really good shell for like a little crab creature, don't take those because they need those for their little houses. And so the ones like that one where they're flat or broken pieces or whatever, you can take those. They're not, they're going to turn into sand. They're not necessarily so useful for the little creatures. But if you see one of those nice round ones that they can make a little house out of, like just, take a picture and leave it, if you can't bear to do so. And of course, if you want more information on that, I just watch YouTube videos. That was something someone I saw somehow about how these crabs and stuff are living in like little trash. They find little trash that they're living in because they can't find shells, and on more crowded beaches and stuff. And there was this person going around with painted, having painted some of these shells and finding the little crabs that are in, like a garbage little house, and putting that down, and they take themselves right out and go right into those shells that he provides. They really do want to be in the shells. Anyway, I just thought it was really nice, and it was very educational because I didn't know that, and I love collecting shells at the beach. So this will make me feel a little better about it if I see it like a house for a little, think of it as a little fake creature, then leave it. Oh, and so now we are on Two of Swords. To get back to the reading, as I remember I'm doing a tarot reading. So in this Two of Swords card, you see this sort of angelic figure, feminine figure with the gold wings, which I love. Gold, 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 solid gold wings. She's got kind of like a big necklace on, and she's got her eyes closed. She's waiting. She has the two swords in her hand, and she's sitting on this tree. And I kind of see her as a guard, someone who's, they're waiting, they're ready, but somewhat ready. Maybe with the eyes closed, they don't want to see. So let me see further in the read how that comes out as the underneath subconscious kind of message there. And this is the behind, and that's the judgment. So I was actually just thinking, I hadn't looked over there and remembered that it was the judgment because of the picture. It's just like such a peaceful little picture. I like it with the music, And she's she's in the tree. I've described it before, and she's got little creatures around her, and it's judgment. It's like something came out, a truth came out. I was like looking for more words, but I was like, it's judgment. Like, okay, we all know what judgment is. And so then in the way or in front of us is the Fool. I've talked about this young person before who is, it's a new beginning, start out again. We're going to come up on, there's a full moon every month or so. And so we're going to come up on that, the moon. Now, I particularly love the full moon because it's so bright that it's bright all night. And it's so pretty up in the sky. I really enjoy a full moon that way. And it's kind of fun and comforting to have that bright reflection of the sun coming back at us at night too. So, and also the Fool card, again, going for what you see, like kind of risking a little bit. So it's either, probably in this case, saying like, go ahead into that new beginning. Go ahead into that new Fool energy. Go ahead and remember what it was like to be young and willing to go to the edge and check out that flower, Just because you're a fool doesn't mean you're stupid. I don't know why that came into my head, but that's a message for us all. And so now let's do the line. I think we went over all of them. So let's do the line up. So this, let's see, what is the message for this Two of Cups internal state of mind, or the feeling, all right, this card is, I gotta admit, Nine of Cups sometimes confuses me as far as energy. Because it's 9 cups, which is like fantastic, right? But and here you can see this kind of grumpy looking fish. He's one of those fighting fish, so he's got the beautiful fins, but he just has like kind of a grumpy face. He's got his crown on, but he really seems to be guarding these cups. And I said he, but I don't know that how it works so much. So I'm gonna switch to they, I think. So they, this fish, seems to be guarding these cups and this treasure underwater, and sort of, you know, cautious. Maybe there's a cautiousness to it. But at the same time, you know, these cups are all upright. I did talk about the gender, and I see jewels and stuff here. So, like, if we did flip, and I said he to begin with, and we made it a female fish, perhaps she's laid some eggs. You know, I don't know. Protective comes to mind. Okay, and so let's see. The next is sort of outside. The outside influences. Too many cards. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we only need 1, 2, 3. So, geez, I kind of wish they hadn't flopped out. Did they flop out this way? Yeah, because I saw the Ace of Cups. So I'm going to go with it. Take it upright here. That's going to put Ace of Cups as the... lots of cups in this reading. The Ace of Cups. So I was talking about the Nine of Cups being kind of guarding tradition, maybe, or not sure what's the next step with the cups. And so this outside influences is the Ace of Cups, which Ace is the first and the new beginning. And you can see this figure holding the cup. And they have kind of gills on their neck and look like they're definitely a sea kind of person, swimming type, which seemed to be the theme with these fins here. And so cups, of course, can be water, classically, in the elements. And so I like this card. That the blue kind of hair gives me that mermaid feel. Like I was saying, I'm a Capricorn, so goat fish, which I like to think of as, you know, a mermaid, and maybe a stubborn mermaid, and goat is the greatest of all time. No, Capricorns, we are not prideful or boastful. Sometimes. That's probably the Aries, actually, to be honest. My Capricorn's just like, I don't have time for this. What are you doing with all these cards? Keep going. You're wasting time. What time is it anyway? 18:14. Okay. Oh, that reminds me of that song. In 1814, we took a little trip. Da 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 da. Mississippi. And then it comes into the chorus. And the British kept a running down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. We fired our guns and British kept a coming. Something like that. Anyway, funny little childhood Go America sign about the war. And at one point it's like they run out of the cannons, all burn down or explode, and so they grab an alligator and powder his behind, I remember. And I used to laugh so hard as a kid. And that randomly came in. I don't even know if that's the right date because I'm bad at remembering numbers, but it worked. And so then we should have the challenge card again. Again, here, this is a lot, especially the last two that came out. So we're just going to go in order, and then we'll talk about the last two that came out as well. So this is going to be the challenge card is the Page of Swords. And in this case, it's almost like, reminds me of like when I play Assassin's Creed, and you're waiting to get your boat docked, and he's like impatiently got his he's doing the Captain Morgan stance, leg up. He's got his sword in hand, but he's not battling. He's intently watching. There's wind. So I feel like that's kind of like the challenge is waiting, getting there on time, or or something like that. Um, since we did have justice, it could be that waiting for justice, or that the justice is coming in, and that's the challenge is that. And then this beautiful card is our final, would be classically the final card in this reading, and it's the Six of Cups. So again, just so many cups. I don't always understand, for instance, why the Nine of Cups, even though it's so much closer to the 10 Cups, which is beautiful, and we already got as the final card, or not the, as the covers it card. And so then the difference between the Nine of Cups and the 10 of Cups is just like, quite different feel to it. And this one, Six of Cups, which is lower, but still, it's so beautiful. It's like there's the 6 cups, they're all full. They've got full of water, and there's this creek kind of dribbling down, and all this green forest, beautiful sky in the background, and there's this this doe, I think, because there's a little baby. I say I think, like I don't know how that works, but I'm pretty sure that this is the doe. She's drinking, which means safe right now, There's no birds flying around. She feels safe enough. She's drinking, but she does have her eye on the little baby there. And the little baby looks like it's just standing up from drinking. And it's right at the front of the card looking out, kind of at us. Not startled, but maybe ready to be. So it's so, I use Disney a lot, such a Disney kid. It's so Bambi in that way, which for those of you who know, when we were kids and we watched Bambi, it traumatized us. At least it did me. I cried and begged the movie to be remade. And my mother, we had to turn it off. I could be remembering this wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is how it went. I believe we had to turn it off or pause it. We had, big tapes back in the day, and we had to pause the video, and I remember everyone trying to explain to me the circle of life and how it was okay, Bambi was going to be okay, and I was like, no, Bambi's mom died, Bambi's not going to be okay. Bambi said, baby, the hunter is horrible, someone needs to shoot the hunter, and then there was probably a hunter relative, I don't know, I just remember somebody trying to explain to me how it was okay, the hunter was, I'm like, no, we're vegetarians, so there was no getting around it for me, and the cruelty of that death to mom. So, however, I was talked into continuing to watch. I do believe my mother would often give me the little answer that I needed, which was that I am always free to remake in my mind how I interpret the story. And so for me, Bambi's mom did not die. Bambi's mom got injured, they got away. Bambi's mom was okay, and even though they don't show her much, she was, Bambi grew up, and that's what we see next. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure that we need every Disney movie to have the trauma of a dead parent in it. You know what I mean? Like maybe, like Disney's like to be watching. I know it's just my friends and family, but I would think it was really great if instead of there always being like the tragedy and death of being the main, or wickedness or something being the main thing, it's like showing how like a really strong family can overcome all the odds together. There was that one recently, I can't remember I say things so wrong, so please forgive me, Encanto, and it was pretty lovely. I liked the songs, and I did kind of get that feeling out of it now that I'm thinking of it, but it was kind of making villains of, there was a lot of family trauma in it, and I kind of felt like in some ways they didn't really, they just said their trauma and then they didn't really address it. Like the sister that carries everything, she's still carrying everything. Like, I would have liked it to see like someone at the end is like, hey, let me carry that for you, or something. Like they switch up what they do. I don't know. Anyway, so it's totally. What was I doing again? Oh, tarot. So Six of Cups is, I think, a good card for this end of this reading. In that, I was actually thinking with Bambi, I got stuck on the death, but I was thinking of the next like chapter where the friends get back together and they get Twitter pated, and it's just funny thinking of that. So that's the spring, and so spring's coming up. I hope. I feel like we've had 2 springs here. It's today is literally so much snow out there, and for the second time, I put my shovels into my shed, and so I'm gonna have to put on my tallest boots to go all the way out there to get them. And I don't really want to, so I kind of hope that the sun comes out in the next few days and melts it all away, and then maybe I won't have to deal with it. Or maybe I'll get in gear. It does look like a nice sunny day. I think I could go out and push a little snow around. But I did want to talk about the last 2 cards that had popped out, and I said too much. So when I have this happen, I do look at them and I do consider that this is apologize. In addition, so this is in addition. You are able to do a second read, just like with the horseshoe pattern on these. So you could think of it as the start of the new read, but I usually just kind of put them over here and kind of as an addition to the final card of the Six of Cups. We have some cards here that most people are terrified of course. And I would just say, don't be. Maybe that's why I came today as a cat with messy lipstick, and think of your cat. Like I was thinking if I was a cat and someone came up and was like, hey, your lipstick's a mess. I was like, yeah, thank you. Because I'm a cat, I'm going to chase down a little creature and eat it. I mean, it's messy to be a cat. But also, all the things we love about them. They land on their feet. They choose. They're choosy. So when you get chosen by a cat, it's lovely. So this death card and this tower card, and I think I had the tower card before I talked about it, but I'm not sure that we've had the death card. So I think it's always good advice in tarot or anything that you're doing. And I like how this card has put all the ribbons in. Death doesn't always need to be the negative, the end, be all. Some people might even find it a final relief if they're suffering and they want to stop suffering. We really can't take that away from anyone, and even ourselves. But also, it's an end of suffering. So this card doesn't always have to. Please, if you listen to tarot, read tarot, whatever, don't take the death card or any of these cards so literal that you're afraid someone's going to die or something's going to die, or then if it does, because people, things are dying. Entropy exists in this world. Things are dying all the time, and so you don't want this to predict something that really happens and then you're like, oh no, I was playing with the tarot and there was a death card. So as much as possible, it's that idea of ending suffering. So if you see this horse may have a skull head or is wearing a skull head, right? Death's coming on the white horse is a thing that people I've heard. And in this case, death is feminine, and she's, she's not wearing a hood, a cape. She's not rotten. She's not a skull. She has horns and fancy ribbons on her horns, and she's holding her hand up, and she looks like she's just kind of making a parade. And this reminds me of we have these Barbies. Orion and I play superheroes and Barbies since he was a kid, and we made these. We have this custom team that we like that are these four sisters. They're these sisters of the apocalypse, and Death is the kindest, sweetest of the sisters. She's not wanting to end anything. You know, she's not war. She's the one that has to come after the war and take some people, you know, where they need to go, is the legend of it. So it's like that in our, you know, war is very tough. They're actually behind up there. Maybe I'll show them another time. And so that's how I always kind of think of that horse of the apocalypse. So all the ones that come before, we call them bugs. That's pestilence. Styx is famine. War is actually, she's also the queen of the damned, and vampires and all those kind of creatures have to follow her will, and that's how her kind of power works. We'll show her, but so the death character in that, you've got the war and the famine, and so I kind of came up with this story of it for myself, of thinking of, if you have war and it's ravaged, and there's war going on right now places, and you have famine ravaging, people don't have enough to eat or are suffering, and we have that going on, and you have you know, just overgrowth of pests, and you know, I always kind of think of those like invasive species that get into places like the gator fish somewhere in America that are just doing bad things, and those certain kind of mice over in Australia, that kind of thing, where we have this sort of overrun of one kind of thing. You know, sometimes humans are kind of a pest. And imagine if all this war and famine and sickness, pestilence, oh, how it just connected. I forget, we're like still in pestilence, and definitely had, you know, people went in the pandemic. So think of it, of the suffering, and then all that war. But what if the fourth rider? What if she never came? What if it was just eternal war, and then all the ones that died had to just get up and keep suffering? There wasn't any death, just you're like cut off and you just dragged around. Can you imagine how awful? So in a way, releasing the last rider, the death, that ends the suffering. You can imagine her going through and just taking the ones maybe that beg, that say, please, I don't want to suffer. Those that say, don't take me, I want to live. Maybe she's able to just leave. Again, that's me being very like sort of literal with the legend, but take it as let the things that don't serve you, let the things that are in your way, just let them go. Be the fool. And with the tower, it's that similar message. You know, if you got into, you know, you were born into a tower and it's not for you, you know, get out of there. If you reached a tower by stealing and messing everybody up, that's going to come crumbling down. But if somebody towered you, if somebody took your things, if somebody stopped you, this tower would be for them, and it would be your turn to build. So neither one of these cards are bad in themselves. If you need redemption and your tower, shush, we're at the end. If you need redemption and your tower is to realize that, you know, work and bring it down. You know, get everyone around you and let's build something better. All right, together. Together. I'm going to show you again the end, the Ten of Cups, and the Two of Cups, as in that was the querent. But then this Ten of Cups in the final card, even more cups, right? Even more cups in spring. So you know, let's all kind of make a commitment to ourselves to you know, pull down and get rid of anything that's not useful. Let it go. Let's take the Fool. Let's take the new beginning. Let's do the Fool. Let's let's be grateful for what we have and be willing to try new things. We don't have to always be guarded. And we can open our eyes and know if we need justice to be served. All right? And then let's take all these cups, all of this stuff, and let's throw a party. Let's have a celebration of spring and life, and take it, because I'm a cat, I have to say, take a nap in the sun. Anyway, love you all, and I'll see you next time.